Today's Bible verse comes from the book of Joshua, chapter 1. Verse 6 reads, "Be strong and courageous, because you will lead these people to inherit the land I swore to their forefathers and give them. Be strong and courageous. Be careful to obey all the law my servant Moses gave you. Do not turn from it to the right or to the left, that you may be successful wherever you go. Do not let this book of law depart from your mouth. Meditate on it day and night, so that you may be careful to do everything written in it. Then you will be prosperous and successful." As you guys know, I don't really plan what I'm going to say, and that's definitely true today. You guys know that I'm currently in a season of opportunity and a season of trust. And for anyone else who's kind of in a similar situation, you may know that it can be scary to not have everything lined up and laid out for you. And, also it can be really easy to kind of let little things kind of get under your skin, and, you can, or I find myself, for some reason, just, doing my best not to sin in my anger. And, anger is there's a lot of very human emotions that we have that don't always lead to righteousness. And people are like, well, Jesus was angry and he flipped tables. But there's definitely like a time and a place for that. It's not right. As God's people, you're called for holiness. And I was reading through Leviticus, and it's sometimes some of those books are just like, they're tough to read, but when you're really like trying to find what the Lord has for you, you I don't know what books in the Bible you're reading, but I hope that you are either on like a year Bible plan, or you're trying to go through particular books in the Bible, or you're reading through the New Testament. Hopefully you're actually studying God's word, and you're not just getting my verse of the day, which is is kind of all over the place. But I just want to leave you guys today and say, be strong and courageous. Be careful to obey all the law. Be strong and courageous. God will be with you wherever you go. Do not be terrified. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you. There's some really, really, I call them gems. There's some really good gems when, like Jeremiah 29:11. But, there's more verses after that. Verse 12 and 13 are really good too. And, everyone's like John 3:16, but John 3:17 is good too. Like, don't just take like one part of the Bible and be like, oh, the filament, and like you have to look at this book as not just like a history book, or not just some story, because in essence it's God's word, and it's God. He's sharing his story, the story of his people, and you can see all the good and bad. That doesn't hold anything back. There's a lot of death. There's a lot of murder. There's a lot of like bad stuff in here, bad enough that the people are trying to ban the Bible. Like, oh, there's incest, and there's rape and murder, and yeah. But I mean, what are the shows you're watching? Like, this Bible's so bad, but you guys are watching like filth. So I don't know, like, not just reading the word, but you got to guard your eyes, got to guard your heart, you got to guard your words. You got to be careful what you're saying to people. You got to be careful what you're doing around people. And as a Christian, you need to live a life that's holy, that's set apart. We're sanctified, but that doesn't mean that you got to sin in your grace, like so that grace may abound. We're sanctified, but we're also called to a higher standard. We're called to live a life that's set apart. We're called to live a life that people look at and say, okay, he's not just going to church, like he's actually applying those concepts. He's actually showing mercy to his children. He's actually showing grace to his loved ones, you know. And I'll leave you that with that. I'll leave you with that today. May God bless you. Have a wonderful day.